Hi, I'm Bryn. 3 months ago, I buried my only daughter. Mia was only 23 when a rare form of leukemia took her from me. She fought for 18 months, but in the end, not even her stubborn determination could save her. The funeral was beautiful, Bryn. Mia would have approved. My best friend Diane pushed a cup of coffee toward me that I didn't want. What I would approve of is having my daughter back. I knew I sounded bitter, but grief doesn't make you a better person. The thing about Mia was that she'd always been exceptional. By 19, she'd developed an algorithm that tech companies fought over. By 22, her startup had been valued at over $100 million. My daughter, the genius. My daughter, who I raised completely alone after her father bailed. Have you looked at any of the paperwork Rachel sent over? Diane asked carefully. Rachel was Mia's attorney. Mine now, I guess. Not yet. I can't. It makes it real. Bryn, I get it, but you need to know what's happening. Mia's company sold for $40 million after her death. She left everything to you. I'd trade every penny to have my girl back for just one day. The doorbell rang and Diane answered it. Miss Henderson? I'm Kyle from Westlake Partners. We need to discuss Mia's estate. I walked to the door. I'm working with Rachel Porter on all that. There seem to be some complications. Your ex-husband has been in contact with our firm. I froze. Carter? What does he have to do with anything? He's making some claims regarding the inheritance. After Kyle left, I collapsed onto the couch. Carter hasn't been in our lives for 15 years. Mia was 8 when he walked out. Never paid a dime of child support. Now he wants her money? Rachel will handle this, Diane assured me. 2 days later at the memorial service, I felt a prickle on my neck. I turned and there he was. Carter, older, grayer, but unmistakably the man who abandoned his daughter. Is that him? Diane whispered. I nodded, rage bubbling up inside me. What's he doing here? Marcus, my brother, appeared beside me. He's after Mia's money. Carter caught my eye and had the audacity to nod slightly. Then his gaze drifted to the large photo of Mia on display, next to the news clipping about her company's success. I didn't miss the calculating look in his eyes. I'll throw him out. Marcus started forward. No, let him stay. I want to see exactly what he thinks he's doing here after 15 years of nothing. As people shared memories of Mia, I watched Carter work the room, introducing himself as Mia's father, with a practiced, mournful expression that never reached his eyes. All I could think was, you don't get to claim her now. You don't get to profit from the daughter you threw away. After the memorial, I spotted Carter hanging around near the parking lot, leaning against a beat-up BMW. Bryn, we need to talk. His voice had that fake sincerity I remembered too well. 15 years too late for that? I just lost my daughter too, you know. He put his hand over his heart dramatically. When I heard about Mia's success, I was so proud. Proud? You didn't even send a birthday card. Not once. The memory hit me hard. Mia sitting by the window on her 8th birthday, waiting for her dad who promised to take her to the zoo. She waited for 6 hours. That night, I found his note. Can't do this anymore. Sorry. You're unbelievable. I turned to walk away. Wait. He grabbed my arm. I'm still her father. Legally, I have rights to part of her estate. Marcus appeared beside me. Take your hand off my sister before I break it. Carter backed off. Just trying to have a civilized conversation about what's rightfully mine. 3 days later, I met with Rachel in her office downtown. Diane came for moral support. He's arguing that as Mia's biological father, he's entitled to a portion of her estate despite your divorce, Rachel explained. He's hired Vernon Matthews, shark attorney who specializes in inheritance disputes. So this is serious? My stomach dropped. We'll fight it, but yes. My phone buzzed with a text from Carter. Willing to settle for $15 million. The audacity. Diane shook her head. Do not meet him, Rachel emphasized. And save that text. A week later, Carter showed up at my house unannounced. A blonde woman waited in his car. That's Vanessa, his new wife, Diane whispered, peeking through the curtains. Bryn, just hear me out. Carter stood on my porch, looking increasingly desperate. His designer shirt had a coffee stain, and his watch was missing. I already told you to communicate through my lawyer. Look, I'm in a bind. I owe some people money. Not my problem. His face changed, the fake grief vanishing. Half that money should be mine. I helped create her. Creating her took 5 minutes. I spent 15 years raising her without a penny from you. You'll regret this. His voice dropped to a threatening whisper. I've filed a formal claim. I'll drag Mia's name through every court if I have to. I stepped closer. Try it. Everyone will know you abandoned your dying child and only showed up for her money. As he stormed back to his car, Diane put her arm around me. Rachel found something interesting. Apparently, Carter's being sued by 3 different creditors. So that's what this is about. He's drowning in debt and saw Mia's inheritance as his life raft. We're not going to let him win, Diane said firmly. I nodded, a plan already forming in my mind. The next morning, Diane and I met Rachel at a coffee shop downtown. I've hired a private investigator to look into Carter's past. Rachel slid a folder across the table. You're not going to believe this. I flipped through the pages. 5 marriages in 15 years. And 3 more serious relationships, Diane pointed at a photo. All with successful women. Pattern's always the same, Rachel tapped the folder. He finds wealthy women, marries them. Then something happens to their money. Financial troubles, mysterious transfers. And Vanessa? What's her story? Inherited her father's construction business 2 years ago, worth about $3 million until recently. Let me guess. Now she's broke? Company's on the verge of bankruptcy after some bad investments Carter recommended. I shook my head. We need to talk to her. Already arranged it, Diane smiled. Told her we had information about Carter she needed to hear. She's meeting us at your place in an hour. When we arrived, Vanessa was already waiting, looking nervous. Thanks for coming, I said, unlocking the door. What's this about? Carter said you're just after his money. His money? I couldn't help laughing. That's rich. Diane placed a recorder on the coffee table. Before we start, do you mind if I record this? For everyone's protection? Vanessa nodded hesitantly. Did Carter ever mention that he abandoned Mia when she was 8? Or that he never paid child support? Or visited her when she was dying? Vanessa's face went pale. He said you kept her from him. That you turned her against him after the divorce. That's what he told you? I pulled out an envelope. These are the letters Mia wrote him over the years, all returned unopened. Vanessa examined them, hands trembling. But he said he also told you he had money coming, right? From an investment or business deal? He said his daughter set up a trust for him before she died. There was no trust, just the money she left me. Vanessa looked sick. My company? He's been handling our finances. You should check your accounts, Rachel suggested gently. Vanessa's phone rang. She glanced at it. It's him. Answer it, I said. Put it on speaker. Hey, babe. Carter's voice filled the room. Where are you? Just out. What's up? That lawyer called again. We need to move faster on Bryn's case. What exactly is your plan? Vanessa asked carefully. Once we get the money, we'll disappear. Costa Rica, maybe? I've got a guy working on new IDs. What about your promise to pay back my company's investors? Yeah, about that. We might need to rethink. Those guys can wait. So you were never planning to pay them back? Vanessa's voice shook. There was a pause. Who's with you? Answer the question, Carter. I couldn't stay silent any longer. Bryn? What the hell, Vanessa? Did you ever care about Mia? I demanded. Or was it always about the money? Don't act so high and mighty. 40 million for doing nothing? You hit the jackpot when the kid died. The line went dead. Vanessa stared at the phone in horror. Tell me everything he's done with your company, Rachel said quietly. Diane stopped the recorder with a click. And we've got him. 2 weeks later, we all sat in the courtroom as Rachel methodically dismantled Carter's case. She displayed the recorded phone call on a large screen, along with bank statements showing how he'd siphoned money from Vanessa's company. Your Honor, as evidence clearly shows, the plaintiff has a documented pattern of financial manipulation spanning 15 years and 6 relationships. Carter shifted uncomfortably as Rachel continued. Furthermore, Mr. Evans abandoned his daughter at age 8, never paid the court-ordered child support, and made no attempt to contact her during her illness. The judge peered over her glasses. Mr. Evans, these are serious allegations. Carter leaned toward his attorney, whispering frantically. My client maintains that he was denied access to his daughter, his lawyer argued weakly. Then perhaps your client can explain these. Rachel presented the returned letters from Mia. All sent by his daughter, all returned unopened. The judge examined the evidence, her expression hardening. I've heard enough. This claim is dismissed with prejudice. Furthermore, I'm issuing a restraining order against Mr. Evans and referring this case to the district attorney for potential fraud charges. As we exited the courtroom, Carter rushed toward me. Marcus stepped between us. You ruined me, Carter spat. Vanessa's filed for divorce. My reputation is destroyed. You did that all by yourself, I replied calmly. Later that evening, as I was leaving Rachel's office, Carter was waiting by my car. I need 5 minutes. Please. You're violating the restraining order. I know I screwed up. I was desperate. But I really did love Mia. Love isn't something you discover after someone dies and leaves money. I was a terrible father. I admit that. But can't you find it in your heart to forgive me? For Mia's sake? I looked at him, really looked at him. For the first time in years. I saw nothing but selfishness. Mia forgave you. She was better than both of us that way. But I'm not Mia, and I don't forgive you. What are you going to do with all that money anyway? Something Mia would be proud of. 3 months later, I stood at the podium in front of the newly established Mia Evans Foundation for Young Women in Technology. My daughter believed that everyone deserves a chance to build something meaningful. I told the crowd. This foundation will provide scholarships and mentorship to girls who might not otherwise have the opportunity. Diane squeezed my hand as I stepped down from the stage. She would have loved this, she whispered. I know. As we walked through the crowd, Marcus pointed to a newspaper someone was reading. The headline caught my eye. Local businessman Carter Evans sentenced to 5 years for fraud. You okay? Diane asked. Yeah, I said, surprised to realize I meant it. For the first time in a long time, I actually am. That night, I sat in Mia's old room surrounded by her things. The pain was still there. It would always be there. But alongside it was something new. Purpose. Strength. A way forward that honored her memory instead of just mourning it. We did it, kiddo, I whispered. We made something good out of something terrible. And somewhere, I could almost hear Mia laugh in agreement. Do you think a parent who completely abandons their child deserves any inheritance when that child dies? Even if they're the biological parent? Does someone who walked away from all responsibilities have any right to benefit from their child's success? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about standing up to toxic people in your life. New stories every day.